Right, we have a new item added in through Bob's Tall Tales called the treasure maps. And if you're wanting to know what exactly you can loot with these treasure maps, well, let's dive into it. The first thing you're going to need to know is how to get your hands on some treasure maps. Treasure maps can drop pretty much from almost any creature that drops loot. So if you kill a creature and you get berries, arrows, a spear, a whip, things like that, most likely those creatures will also drop maps. Now, it's very rare that anything drops a map. So out of 100 creatures that do drop maps, I get 1 map per 100 creatures I kill, maybe less than that sometimes. Alright, so what we do know so far that does drop them for sure are scorpions, mantis, direwolves, and some people have said cave bats. I'm not sure about that one. But of course, there are other dinosaurs in the game, like titan boas and sarcos that also drop loot, and raptors. And since they also drop loot, there's probably a chance they drop a map as well. You're going to need to kill a bunch of them to get lucky and get a map to drop. And there are also different quality maps, and I've been trying to test how you would get certain qualities of maps, but so far nothing has really given me a great detail because, well, as I said, if I kill 100 things, I might get 1 map, right? So killing, let's take scorpions for instance, killing 200 of them at level 200, I'll get a prim map. Killing 100 of them at level 50, I'll get a prim map. And killing 100 of them at level 150, I'll get a Ramshackle map. Sometimes you'll get an Ascended map. There doesn't seem to really be any correlation between levels and the type of map you're going to get. I think it's just a % base chance to drop a map, and then a % based, if that map does drop, what kind of map it's going to be. Right, anyway, so now you know where to get the maps. If you're lucky enough to find one, you can consume them by pressing E, hovering over them, clicking on them, or going through the options and using consume. However you use consume with whatever controller you're using, you consume them. Once you consume a map, you'll get a little notification ping icon somewhere in the world that says, hey, it's this many meters away. It works kind of like your dino tracker. It just puts something on your user interface that you can see, and it shows you where it is. But as soon as you mount a dinosaur, it goes away. So you have to kind of remember where it is, and then you can dismount and kind of see it. If it doesn't come back, you can always reconsume the map. Now, you won't be able to dig your treasure chest up without a shovel. But how does it determine where it's going to be? Well, I went into the code and looked, and as you can see, this code here determines where it's going to be. And basically, it is going to it's going to choose a random distance from you, wherever you are at when you consume the map. It'll choose a random distance from you. Check and make sure it's within bounds, there's nothing blocking it, and then it will put it there. If something's blocking it, it'll try and put it somewhere else. It'll happen instantly, so you won't even notice that it's trying to find better locations. Unfortunately, though, it probably can show up under somebody's base. So try and make sure you're at least 1,500 meters from someone's base when you use this, so that it doesn't end up in the middle of their base. Alright, then once you get to the location, use the shovel, dig it up. Now, each map has a different level to access it. If you're not high enough level, you won't be able to access the treasure chest. Or you may not even be able to consume the map if you're not high enough level. Now, the trick with these treasure maps is they pull from other loot tables. They don't have their own loot table. Right, so they follow the rules of whatever the loot table is, with the exception of they multiply the quality. Right? The quality will multiply between 2 and 4 times. Alright, if you already know, the loot tables in Ark Ascended are much higher than they ever were in Ark Survival Evolved. They're already so high that you're getting like capped items, and stuff is like way too good, honestly. And it's making a pain to craft because you're crafting things that are already capped, so you don't need a crafter for that. And it's super expensive, whereas if you had gotten something really low and used a crafter to push it up to cap, it would be really cheap. So it's kind of nice and kind of not nice at the same time, but then we're getting 2 to 4 times that amount, so we're getting some, this will give you some crazy quality loot for sure. But then any loot you get that's over cap will of course be dropped back to cap at the next update. For instance, we get an ice cave tier loot crate. That goes up to something like 4 or 6 quality, and then we multiply that by 4 or even 2, and we're already hitting, so basically almost every loot is going to be at the quality level of 10. Right? Depending on some of the drops and stuff may have a little bit lower of a thing, so 2 times might be more like 6 or 9, but we're pushing up there, really high up there, right? 10's the highest you can get. Alright, so we'll go ahead and go over the qualities we can get here. The first, of course, is primitive. You only need a level 1 to access this. it uses the supply drop, island supply drop loot table, levels 25, 35, and 45. Right, then next we have Ramshackle maps. Ramshackle maps require level 15 to use, and they pull from the loot tables of supply drops from the island. Again, level 25, level 45, and level 60 drops. Then we have the apprentice maps, and they require level 25 to use, and they pull from the loot tables of the island supply drops of level 45 and level 60. Then we move up to journeyman, which requires level 35. It uses the loot tables of the normal caves from island, tier 1, 2, and 4. It also uses the ice cave loot tables, tier 1 only, swamp loot tables, tier 1 only, and underwater, tier 1 only loot tables. Now, if you're wanting to know what loot tables I'm referencing, I have a video out about the island cave loot tables and also the island drop loot tables if you want to check those out. Alright, moving up to the next map, it's a Mastercraft map. Right, this requires level 45 to activate, and it pulls from the loot table from tier 2 and tier 4 cave crates, all levels of ice cave loot crates, all levels of swamp cave loot crates, all levels of underwater loot crates. Right, and that's kind of amazing to be able to get access to those loot tables at level 45. Alright, so if you're on a server that's leveling up real slowly, this might be a great way to get access to loot that you couldn't get access to otherwise. I'm fairly certain the ice cave requires like something like level 60 or 80 to access those crates. Right, next up we have the Ascendant level maps, which require you to be level 60. And the Ascendant loot table pulls from Cave Tier 1, Cave Tier 4, all Ice Cave, and all Swamp Cave tiers. If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button. Have an awesome day.